Hey guys, it's Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Cupid Parasite, continuing Alan's roller coaster. And roller coaster should be fun, but this one is not. Now we're back to having fun. Stop, simmer down, bird. We're having fun, but it just constantly gets judgy and weird and pisses me off. And so, overall, not really having fun with Alan's route. It's really not. So I'm hoping that they get over their weird judgy bullshit and their weird baby bullshit train and stop dragging it down and just go back to the fun, goofy way that the rest of the routes kind of happened. But yet we don't seem to be doing that. So my mojo for wanting to finish this route is very fucking low. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm gonna do it, guys, but I can't say that we're gonna have fun all the time. Bird, I'm not in a good mood because I have to record this, and I don't want to be here right now. So I'm gonna need you to stop honking in my fucking ear, and I'm gonna need you to shush, okay? Because your honking is annoying me right now. It's not your fault, but you need to shut up. It's been a ass. Anyway, Claire has led the way as we started this tour of hers. But my thoughts kept returning to our earlier conversation. Packed with a human soul. I didn't realize that human souls could be brought to hell, and it was a shock that a demon so close to me was able to do that. It was apparently consensual, and the spirit seemed content. But still, it felt unsettling. Is she gonna have some weird, judgy thing about, oh my god, being a demon is, please don't fucking do that. I mean, I get it to be well, that's a shock, but, are you really that surprised? I mean, are you as a person who is just watching this what? Demons can take human souls to hell and then keep them as a pet? Are you really fucking surprised by that? Where you're oh, no, clutching my pearls. Again, I feel and I this is me now being judgy. I feel like we're supposed to be all appalled by this and clutching our religious Jesus pearls or some shit. I don't understand. It's why is she so shocked by this? You're a demon. I understand that maybe, this is new to you because you didn't know about this, but I don't feel like you should be surprised after 120 years. You should be oh, I mean, that's a shock. I didn't know we could do that, but okay. But, it just feels instead of being okay, I wasn't aware of that, kind of like when they said, oh, the little lesser demons eat humans, and you're that's concerning, but okay, sure, all right, okay, yeah. But this, she's all, and it's I feel like she's being judgy about it. And maybe that's just me coming in and just being a salty bitch because I'm not really enjoying the undertones that they're kind of shoving into my face here with this. You know what I mean? Because it's I understand being shocked about it, but you're a demon. Demons have done far worse, and you're not an idiot. You've spent 400 years as Cupid, so unless you were a complete fucking moron in that 400 years, you also then spent a couple years in the human realm, where you were a little bit of a moron, let's be real, because you didn't know how to human, but that's fine, understandable. And then you were reborn as a human, so in those 20 years where you were actually a human, living a human life, you'd think that you'd have had any kind of experience with lore about humans and demons and whatever. And it's not she's I did not know demons existed. She knows this stuff. She's said these things before, about oh, well, God's like this, and then this happens, and then humans are like this. She seems to know, so this shouldn't shock you. Where you're oh my god, it's just so concerning. It should be okay, wasn't aware of that, but sure. Mild concern, but I feel like we're gonna have this weird, judgy concern. But that could just be me and my personal offense for some reason that whoever wrote this route seems to be calling everything depraved and making it we're supposed to be in this route being oh, I'm offended by the oh, I hope she realizes that she's wrong for being in hell and being a demon and she can repent for her sins and go back to heaven or some bullshit. You know what I mean? It's we're a demon. That's where this route is going. Okay? But I feel we're supposed to be I don't know. I just feel the person who wrote this wants us to be mad about it. I don't know. Is it just me? Like, are you getting kind of the ick with how, like, they're wording certain things? And you're like, I mean, for a normal person, reading this, like, Clarice just took a human soul as a pet. That should be icky. You should be like, that's a little fucked up. But you're going to be like, but demon rules. Like, okay. For us as a demon to be like, oh my gosh, clutch my pearl. Like, no. See, the player should maybe feel that way. I could totally understand that. But the character you're playing shouldn't have those thoughts. You're like, it's almost like the person who wrote it was shoving in some like kind of undertone, like religious belief undertones into Lynette / Spacey that she really shouldn't have. And it's weird. And okay. I'm trying my best here, guys, but I'm not going to do good here. Anyway. He looks like a divine beast, but he was once human. Clara said she used to date him. That meant she had feelings for him. She used the Demon's Pact to reunite with his soul. It was similar to how Alan extracted my soul to force my reincarnation. Yeah. So, like, are you going to get pissed at Alan for killing you? Because, like, I could understand you being a little miffed about that. I mean, the man stabbed you. But just so that you wouldn't disappear. But also then, it's like, reunite with his soul. So... Oh my god, no. Oh my god, it really is Robin. She called him Robin Bread instead of Robin Bullet. But, like, he's got the same hair. Look at its little hair. Look at its floofy hair. That's Robin's hair. So it... Because I was like, is she just calling him Robin? Because Robin would have died, like, ages ago. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean she couldn't go find his soul and bring him back. Like, you know, because the logistics were never explained, but he's got Robin's hair, if you look at it. That's Robin's little floofy bangs. So, like, I think it's actually supposed to be fucking Robin. So I think I was right in the very beginning when I thought that. It's just the time period. And they didn't explain, like, oh, yeah, I found I knew him, like, 80 years ago or whatever. You know what I mean? Oh my god, that's so funny. Then the whispers of distant demons reached my ears.
The newcomer seems strange. She's supposed to be some former god. Maybe that's why.
Their watchful eyes observed us from the shadows, but they seemed less wary than before. And I can understand this, like, the demon's kind of being judgy with you because you used to be a god and now you're a greater demon and, like, whatever. Like, yeah, okay. That's the kind of stuff that you should be focusing on, not her weird fucking religious undertone bullshit. As we approached them, they'd flap their wings and retreat a little further.
It's peculiar. They want to live like humans, but they're demons.
Elle certainly feels more vibrant now. Alan wrapped an arm around my shoulders, shooting a glare at the other demons. Though we're both greater demons now, he still had an instinct to protect me. You're right, it's definitely busier now. Everyone seems to be having fun. Not all of the demons were hovering around us. There were many others that gathered, talking amongst themselves. The ambiance is calmer, but remember, it's still the Sabbath. Everyone's excited. It does seem too peaceful for the Sabbath. It's a huge leap from a century ago. Back when I was kidnapped for the Sabbath, there were lit torches and sacrificial lambs, but none of that was here today. You said it's become more peaceful, but how did that happen? Oh, there's a risk of the gods invading, so we switched over to a more normal festival a few years back. Ah, okay. I think they were modeling it off Oktoberfest. Oktoberfest? The beer thing? Yeah, that way it wouldn't incur the gods' wrath, don't you think? Maybe, but I never thought the demons would be afraid of the gods in the first place. They were shocked when they learned how the greater demon Alan Melville was severely injured by Jupiter's lightning. Oh, I guess that did happen. That was back in Greece. But didn't the demons eat too many humans in the Middle Ages and get erased by the gods? Right, and they still get erased from time to time. They get plucked off when the demons go hunting for human souls. Considering how they still haven't quit eating people, they're just more self-conscious now. The Sabbath is just camouflage. If we throw a huge party for the Sabbath, it would be a target for the gods to attack. That's why we only keep up with appearances. We're only keeping up with appearances. We eat souls, but in secret. No, it was Satan who suggested we do that.
Oh, I see.
I see. Well, we are demons after all. I think Satan's been feeling a bit mortified. He said it felt like we lost to the gods. Uh-oh. Doesn't seem to be boding well. But I can see where... Are you trying to build drama here? Because, okay, I'm that kind of drama I'm here for.
Yeah, Satan would say something like that.
Because I was wondering, like, with the... I'm like, are we going to, like, fight with the lesser demons? Because I feel like we could easily whip them. But, like, fighting with the gods is different. That's drama. And that's better drama than, like, I'm lonely and sad. Oh, I'm going to go cry in a corner because I don't have a baby bullshit. Or her having her weird religious-y undertones, like, I don't know, making out is depraved. Like, the fuck? Like, eating people, you could call that a depraved act. That, I feel like, would warrant that, but kissing your husband should not. You know what I'm saying? But, like, if this is where we're gearing up to, then okay, let's get into these wild, crazy shenanigans. So we can stop with the boring shit that's pissing me off. Well, it's not that it's boring, but you know what I mean? Like, we have good moments, we're having fun, and then they give her this weird judgy shit, and I kind of want to eat her. So maybe in a bad ending, she's going to get, like, totally obliterated by the gods, and I might not feel so bad in this one. I feel bad in every other one, because I like her as a character in general, just not really in this one so much. I don't know. Hey, Alan, is Satan the biggest demon in hell?
Yeah, he stands higher than us greater demons. He's like the leader of hell, much like Celestia as the leader of the deconsentes.
Oh, I see. Should we go and say hi at least?
No, there's no need. Actually, it's better we didn't.
Yep, no point in going anywhere near that dangerous demon. If you were a god in Celestia, you'd preside over destruction and extinction. Destruction and extinction? Wondering just how dangerous Satan could be, I started to feel shivers down my spine. But he's the greatest demon in hell, and they said he was the leader. He must be as powerful as Lord Jupiter. Anyway, since we're here, let's have a drink. Look, doesn't that look good? It's supposed to be pomegranate wine. Let's try it out. Pomegranate wine. I was reminded of the myth I learned about in college. The story of Lord Pluto and Lady Proserpina. Or Persephone. Well, that's Persephone in Hades, but still. This wine won't stop us from being able to go back to the human realm, right?
Is this about the goddess Proserpina?
Huh? What's that got to do with pomegranates?
It was a Greek myth. In the story, eating a pomegranate made Lady Proserpina unable to return to her world. But you have nothing to worry about. That was the underworld, and pomegranates don't have that effect to begin with.
Oh, I see. Wait, the underworld and hell are different?
Oh, I guess some gods and humans think they're the same, but they're different. The underworld's near hell, but we demons are banned from accessing it. It's similar to heaven and Celestia, but there's a large gate that connects heaven and the underworld. It's the gods' domain, too.
Yeah, because the underworld is where you go when you die. Like, that's for dead spirits and stuff like that. But, like, because, like, in the mythology and everything, like, in Christianity, it's like, hell is where you go when you're bad. So basically, you do anything and you go to hell. You blinked at the wrong time, you're going to hell. For super religious people, you're going to hell because you don't go to church. You know what I mean? And then, like, but in most of the mythology, the underworld was just, like, where you go when you die. Like, you're dead and you go to the underworld. And then, like, whatever. And, like, it's not hell. Like, they're not the same thing. Like, oh, really? The underworld, hell, the afterlife. There were many names for this world that lay beneath the earth. I'd always assumed that it was the same place, just with different names. But apparently there were clear differences. So the underworld's also the gods' territory. I mean, I never assume. I mean, I don't know, like, much between, like, the Greek mythology or anything like that, and then, like, whatever. But, like, I never assumed they were the same thing, because hell is always seen as something horrible, and I don't think the underworld was ever, like, horrible. It's like, no, you're dead. But, like, it was always, like, but that's where you go when you die. Like, the afterlife, the underworld. You know what I mean? Like, it was never seemed to be like, oh my god, it's horrible! Maybe it was supposed to be not great, but I don't know. It never gave out the undertones that, like, super religious people in modern times act like hell is. You know what I mean? Like, you just never got the vibes. You're like, it's like a lesser, like, it's like a step down. Hell is like the furthest down, like, step down, you know? I don't know. But, like, I just never got the feeling it was supposed to be the same thing, but I'm Pluto of the Deconsentes, also known as Hades, resided in the underworld. So Lord Pluto was the god of the underworld after all. And it seemed that the underworld was a separate place from Celestia as well. Also, yeah, because you're like Hades, Pluto, same person, but Hades and Pluto are not Satan. So, like, you know what I mean? So demons aren't born in the underworld?
Yeah, the underworld is where the dead arrive. Nothing's born there and the living cannot enter.
My heart jumped upon hearing about the dead. Was he talking about humans, or did demons also die? I knew nothing about the life cycle of demons. I didn't want to ask, so I pushed those ominous thoughts aside. Lord Pluto isn't in hell then, right?
Right. If a god entered hell, there'd be an uproar. Satan would respond immediately. He despises the gods, after all.
Oh, really? Would something bad happen to me if he discovered I was a former god?
You're fine. Many demons here were once gods or angels.
Oh, so there are many.
So you're perfectly safe to drink the pomegranate wine. I'll fetch enough for all three of us.
Well, yeah, especially because Alan's here and he was a former angel, so thanks.
Squeak, squeak.
I love the fact that Robin is a goddamn pet for fucking That's amazing. See, it's shit like this. This is funny.
You're coming with me. Thanks.
Clarice and her familiar, RB, rushed into the tent that was serving pomegranate wine. Though he resembled a mascot, their bond was evident. The trust between them was strong. It's kind of cute, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that's the cutest part of Alan's route is, like, freaking Clarice and Robin. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that, like, she went and fetched his soul, like, and made him her pet. Because you think about all the other times, like in Berenice's route where they're together, and what was the other one where she ended up with him? But like, and then you're like, oh, they're so cute and I love it. And then now it's like, oh, he may have died, but she keeps him as a pet, so that's adorable. And he's like totally happy to be there. Aw. You know, if we went and we found Gil and we were like, you could be my pet, he'd absolutely jump at the chance. So I'm just saying, you know, no different. A demon's pact.
You're intrigued by that.
Yeah, he must have loved her so much to entrust his soul to her.
Indeed, he chose to stay here instead of reincarnating through the underworld. And that's not a choice made lightly.
I see.
And do you want us to do that? You know the Demon's Pact.
We can?
You and I can. You can subordinate me according to a pact that you define.
Subordinate?
A Demon's Pact grants complete control over the other. They can't defy any command.
I feel like that's where our spicy end is gonna go.
Once the pact is signed, you hold all the power. But with you, I'm not concerned. I can submit to your mastery.
And it sounds like he's into that. Please tell me that's where the spicy end goes? No way, I don't want that. Alan, I want us to be equals. No mastery or subjugation. I would never agree to that.
I knew you'd say something like that.
Huh. You were testing me?
No, I genuinely wouldn't mind if you were in charge. But I'd prefer us to be equals. I'm just glad we feel the same way. But remember this. Demons combine lower-ranking demons into subordination. You're a greater demon, so it shouldn't be a problem. But you can never be too cautious.
Sure. Thanks. I recalled the moment when Alan bit my neck. I felt powerless against him then. Such was the disparity in strength between demons. For the past century, Alan had been infusing his powers into me. His goal was to transform me into a greater demon for my safety. And maybe that's also why he didn't want to come back to hell, but it was like, you know, before even now, because it's like, somebody could take control over you, and hell no, that's not happening, you're my wife, you know? He once mentioned committing sins to become a greater demon, all in a bid to find a way to guard me. It was a somber tale from his past. Yet his sacrifices weren't in vain. They were crucial for us to be together safely. We held hands, gazing at the dark sky. Hell didn't seem as menacing to me.
This year's Sabbath offers plenty of delicious food.
Alan and Clarice explored various stalls, purchasing alcohol and sausages. The atmosphere so closely mirrored a festival from the human realm that I momentarily forgot we were observing the Sabbath. I heard music playing from somewhere, the kind that urged me to dance. What's that? Hey, the main event's about to begin!
Which main event?
The masquerade party! Clarice guided me to a spot where numerous demons danced hand in hand. As expected of a masquerade, everyone wore masks. Wow, that's incredible!
So this is what the Sabbath looks like.
Yes, it's a dance that celebrates the glory of hell. Look, even Satan's here. Huh? Where?
Over there atop the tower. You can't see him behind the veil, but you can sense his power, can't you?
He's right. I felt a shiver as I gazed up at the tower. Even without a direct view, I knew he was there. The most formidable demon who rules over hell. Satan's mere presence made me tremble. I wonder if he gets a sprite. After a time, it seemed Satan stopped observing the Sabbath and departed, as I felt his overwhelming aura recede. Phew!
Are you scared?
Yeah, just a little. Goosebumps still prickled my skin. My hands moved instinctively to my arms, rubbing them as I looked up at the now empty tower. There was no one there anymore, but the residue of my fear persisted.
I see. So you can sense it too.
But it's thanks to him that the gods haven't completely overrun hell. They seem to know they stand no chance against Satan.
And as you can sense, his power is vast. Promise me you'll never approach him.
Yeah. Hey, cheer up! It's the Sabbath! Let's dance! With a snap of Clarice's fingers, Alan's and my outfits transformed.
Whoa!
Come on, let's hit the dance floor. Squeak! At Clarice's cue, her familiar morphed into a human form. Grasping his hand, she dove into the sea of dancing figures, her face lighting up with childlike joy. Please show me that it's Robin. So, that's the man Clarice adores so much. I caught only a fleeting glimpse of him, but he struck me as a handsome, kind-hearted individual. I wish they fucking showed it, like hit the sprite really quickly so you'd know it was definitely Robin, but it has to be.
Shall we go too?
Yeah, because it was the only one, like, when, I think it was Maronice's route, right, where she was, like, gonna settle down, we're like, oh my god, she's actually truly in love, and this isn't just, like, her fucking around, like, right? And, like, we were like, wow, that's astonishing for her, and it's like, it has to be Robin, so there's no way it wouldn't be in this one, too. That's amazing, though. As I placed my hand in his, we were swept into the circle of dancing demons. Okay, you know what? This route might be pissing me off sometimes, but this is the most beautiful motherfucking CG in this entire fucking game. Holy shit. Holy hell, it's amazing. You know, there's just something about a masquerade. There's something about the fancy costumes and the masks and just everything. Just the frickin' that I just love so much. And then you've got the fucking wings and like a little gothic masquerade going on. But it's just the lusciousness of like costumes and masks and everything that are just like, yes! Just the muchiness of it. I don't have words! But then like this and then the purple hues don't hurt because I love purple. It's my favorite color. So, like, if this were, like, blue and green tinted, it'd still be beautiful, but not as good as the purple hues going on in this. Oh, I love it so much. Oh, I love it. Alan immediately got into the rhythm. Guiding me with expertise, his moves were so elegant that it seemed I was discovering yet another side of him.
You're quite the dancer.
It's because you're so adept at leading.
Is that so?
As we danced, a twirl here, a spin there, I almost recalled a distant memory. Huh. The sensation of dancing with Ellen was eerily familiar. Something felt nostalgic. Whenever I felt this way, it meant... Ellen, did we ever dance like this in heaven? It was a distant memory, one I wasn't entirely sure of. Yet as I posed the question, I noticed Ellen sharp intake of breath.
Yes, we have.
I knew it. Unlike me, who lost my memories prior to becoming a god, Alan remembered everything from his time as an angel before his fall. He probably recalled moments I'd long forgotten. How I wish I could remember all our shared moments. The thought of forgotten memories saddened me. That's why I decided to simply enjoy the moment. Alan, let's dance as we once did.
In the same way. And do you mean by flying?
Yes, we can do that now, can't we?
Yeah, you're right.
We unleashed our demonic powers and spread our wings wide. We heard the crowd murmur, likely from fear of greater demons unleashing their powers. But behind his mask, I saw his kind gaze. I was the only one who might have noticed that. We saw our reflections in each other's eyes, and we kept dancing to our heart's content without a single care. We flew through the skies of hell and glided above the fearful demons. The fun masquerade continued on. I enjoyed this first event since I came to hell with Alan. That's a gorgeous CG, and it was worth it. And like right now, like this part, like aside from her weird judgy thing, like we're having fun, we're having moment like this. Keep it like this. Don't bring the weird judginess in it. Don't bring the baby shit up. Just keep it like this. You know what I mean? Just keep it fun and light, and then bring in some weird shenanigans. You know? Phew, that was fun. Alan and I descended to the ground, and we both ordered lemon soda for a break.
Yeah, that sure was fun.
Alan smiled shyly as he looked at the ring of demons still dancing. I noticed that Clarice and Robin were still there. See, she just called him Robin! She didn't call him, like, RB, so it's definitely... Okay, I love that. I'm glad to see Clarice enjoying herself. Clarice showed a sweet expression that I rarely saw as she danced with her familiar. Just looking at her was fun for me.
Maybe I got a little too carried away.
Alan looked at his surroundings. I noticed many lesser demons staring at us with wide-open eyes.
Well, was that really Alan Melville? He actually smiled.
Oh, they're right. The other demons should have been afraid of him as a greater demon, but they were all interested enough to continue observing. One of them started to approach us.
Hey, is it true you were once a god?
I glanced at Alan, unsure if I should respond. After a brief pause, he nodded. Yes, why do you ask?
Just curious. They told me to come and ask you.
They? I noticed some small demons eyeing a distant group of demons that exuded a peculiar aura. Huh. These demons stood out from the rest. Their slender figures, postures, and distant stares reminded me of gods. Uh-oh. Could this be related to some demon pact that made them subordinate? It was unusual for demons to follow orders, as they typically valued their freedom. The lesser demons must have struck a deal or pact of some sort. But why are they interested in us? Former god demon. Because we're demons who were once gods. Ah, okay. Huh? Suddenly, those godly demons were right before us. Alan unfurled his wings, positioning himself protectively in front of me. What do you want? Oh, look at him getting all, like, intense. We heard a former god had arrived here. We were curious. Do you despise the gods like we do? Hate the gods? Yes. They banished us and looked down on demons. These are different demons, but they all have the same voice. Doesn't matter. That's why we're here. To invite you to join us in challenging the gods. Okay. Professor Melville's secret lesson. Uh-huh. After the event concluded, we told Clarice farewell. Alan and I headed directly home. I like how they just have that and then they just end, and it's like, okay. Relief washed over us as we stepped into our familiar home. Alan seemed to share my feelings as he shifted back to his human appearance. Phew! That was unexpected. I wasn't aware of other former gods turned demons here. Well, we had the conversation that there were, so we know that they exist somewhere.
Me neither. I've only heard stories about them, but meeting them was a first.
You've heard stories? Girl, you did too earlier. What the fuck? She's lost her goddamn marbles. Like, they said that. Like, because she specifically asked, would Satan hate me because I'm a former god? I'm like, nah, there's tons of other former gods / angels that have fallen down. Like, whatever, it's not a first. So it's like, you heard stories about it literally an hour ago. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Clarice just said that. Did you forget what you wrote? Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, it's about fallen angels in hell.
Like, Belial? Whatever. And Azazel? Whatever.
Ever come across their names?
Can't. about them in mythology class. You're saying they're real?
Yeah, the tales might have some inaccuracies, but they're rooted in truth.
Whatever. All of them.
And Lucifer really do exist here.
I didn't know that.
Oh, but that's news to me. These former gods had their identities wiped and now reside here.
Ellen gazed out the window. Indeed, those seeking vengeance on the gods were once revered deities, now forgotten. Okay, we're gonna flash back. Okay. I was once venerated as a god in a small community. I oversaw river floods. Humans both revered and feared me. And then the gods erased me. Celestian gods erased any they found heretical. Gods linked to calamities were deemed evil. I mean, interesting. I feel like this was a long ass time ago. But yeah, I mean, it kind of makes sense. Because if you think about it, like, what we've set up throughout all the games is like, the gods over here to look out for humans and take care of humans. Or they have, like, divine powers and they could smite people if they want to and, like, do crazy shit. So, like, on one hand, it's hypocritical of them to be like, you're causing floods, you're a bad man. But it's like, if somebody pisses off Mars, he's like, ark. You know what I mean? Like, Jupiter gets pissed and he shoves a lightning bolt up your ass. You know what I'm saying? But in general, they're like, we're here to help people. Just keep worshipping me, because don't make me get mad and smite you. You know what I mean? But, like, this guy over here was like, I'm just like, floods! For no reason! Fuck it! You know what I mean? So, I mean, I kind of understand the guys be like, no, we don't want bad guys. Because we want them to worship the gods. But, like, then you would think, like, if you don't, set up temples and revere me, then I'll flood your town. But otherwise I'll keep it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, yeah, okay. It makes more sense than like, oh, I just had an argument with Jupiter and I totally didn't agree on what the best Pokemon was, so he smited me and now I'm here. You know what I mean? It's like, my powers are like, I'm linked to calamities, so I'm deemed evil. So this was like ancient times. Like, so it kind of makes sense, the logic behind it, at least why there's fallen gods here, you know what I mean? Aside from us. Once deprived of worshippers, we were no longer gods. Thus we became known as demons. When no one honors a god, it ceases to be a god. Gods causing human miseries aren't gods either. That was what Celestia decided. It was Zeus who banished us. That arrogant god declared we were unworthy of our names. That's actually funnier, since Zeus is a big fat fucking bitch and a big asshole. Huh. Zeus, meaning Lord Jupiter. Yeah, but that's the thing. Okay, so I guess in this one she doesn't know Zeus and Jupiter are two different people. Is that what Lord Jupiter did? No. I remembered a tale from my aunt in my past life. Lord Jupiter had a history of slaying demons and intervening when necessary. Although humans might not revere us, the act of wiping out our names was inexcusable. Without names, there's no adoration. That's why we waited for the right moment to revolt against those who stripped us of our essence. So what's your name? Former god demon number 2? But acting alone isn't enough. We hoped for another god who'd suffered like us. I chose this, though. I rejected their proposal. I still held affection for my parents in Celestia, and the new Cupid Sylvie was there as well. I didn't resent my circumstances, nor had any specific hatred toward the gods. So I expressed my inability to join them. I'd be like, I chose to be here.
Do you think rejecting them was okay?
Yeah, I'm happy here, and I don't hold a grudge against the gods. Just because I'm no longer in Celestia doesn't mean I want vengeance. What about you, Alan? You could have said yes.
No, I might have opinions about Celestia, but I don't truly hate them. You're here with me. There's nothing more I want.
Alan embraced me, a soft smile on his face. I buried my face into his chest happily. Are those gods gonna come, the god demons gonna come after us and we're gonna have to fight them, or are they gonna go try to attack the gods and then we're gonna have to be like, no guys, stop! Stop fighting! And we're gonna have to be like the middleman in between this? Like, because I just feel like those god demons that are all pissed up, they're gonna make trouble. I'm relieved Alan doesn't want revenge either. While the gods had separated us and there was a time that I harbored a grudge, any resentment was in the past. Now he was always nearby. Our present mattered most. But the demons challenging the gods seems reckless.
I think it'd be difficult. Demons can't even touch sacred relics.
Yeah, that's right. Do demons just vaporize when we touch divine artifacts?
I'm not sure. I've never seen it personally. But legend says Mars and Venus wielded these relics to defeat demons during the Middle Ages. That's why I steer clear. If I touched them, it would burn.
Ellen gestured, waving his hand, hinting he'd experienced it. I remember my deep unease when Sylvie took out his Cupid's arrow. I feel like demons can't defeat the divine artifacts. Then a new question emerged in my mind. Why were the demons considered evil? Why were the gods considered just? I feel like the demon one is more pertinent. Oh, okay. Why such reverence for gods and scorn for demons? I mean, that's a valid question because you're like, well, that's just that's somebody decided it, wrote it in a book, and said that's it. That we felt that's it. That those are the rules, and nobody thinks about it, and nobody goes, yeah, but why? It's kind of like, why is a fork a fork? Why is a fork not a spoon? Why is a spoon not a fork? Why is a knife not a spoon? Who came up with these names? And like, why? Why did we just go with it? You know what I mean? I mean, to be fair, spoon sounds rounded and fork sounds very sharp. You know what I mean? It's like that whole thing when they give you the two shapes, the blobby shape and then the pointy shape, and they give you like names, like if you had to name them like Kiki and something else, and like you always pick Kiki as the pointy one because it seems pointy, and then the other name goes up, and like everybody generally does that because that's so it's like fork sounds like it'd be the pointy tiny one, and like spoon sounds like it'd be the little roundy one. You know what I mean? So it just seems logical, but it's like, who the fuck decided a fork was a fork? Who decided what to call these things? Because you're like, well, what if I don't agree with that? Like, that's what it is, but why? Why is it? You know? So it's kind of like, why are the gods good and demons are bad? Because somebody told us that's what it was, but what made them the person that could make that decision? Oh, I work for the church. It was the church, let's be real. And like, they had a lot of sway and a lot of shit that's come from that historically is bullshit. So like, you know what I mean? Like, you have to go or you're going to go to hell. It was just to get people into church. So all of that came up just as the con man way to get people to go to church. Because people weren't going to church because they had too much shit to do. Like, I got a farm. I got to feed my family. And it was like, if you don't go to church, you're going to hell. So people would go to church. Like, this is a con. Church is a con, man. Like, listen, like, in general, the church as a whole is kind of a con man scheme. Like, you know, I'm not saying that if you, like, you know, have any kind of, like, religious beliefs that they're all inherently wrong, because, like, it is the root of all evil, to be fair. Because, like, most people don't just start wars for non-religious reasons. Like, a lot of times, that's what's starting all the wars, is religious beliefs, okay? But that doesn't mean that everybody who's religious is evil, obviously. But, like, you can still be a good church-going person, God-fearing person, and not be a hateful human being. It just seems that in the Venn diagram of overlap, there's a big overlap, and it's unfortunate. Because there are good people who, like, you know, fit into being religious and going to church and whatever, that are decent human beings, that are actually doing what those lessons teach you and should be doing, like to try to teach you to be a better human being. And they're following that. And it's like, see, that's what it's supposed to do. But the loud minority, or actually the loud majority, are just awful human beings, to be fair. Really awful human beings. You're going to hell because, you know what? I think you're going to hell for judging. Thou shalt not judge. And yet, what are you doing? Fun times. They're hypocrites. Again, if you're religious, I'm not saying you're a hypocrite. I'm just saying, just check yourself, you know? I'm not saying I'm a good person, but I also don't pretend to be. I'm not like, I'm a great and wonderful person. No, I'm an asshole. I know that. But I'm not hiding behind the Bible and pretending that I'm a good person because I go to church. Like, there's a difference. Like, acknowledge yourself. I am a judgy asshole. I'm aware. Oh my God. And again, I mean, I know, like, that not every single person who's religious is bad, but again, huge vocal majority is just ruining it for all the decent people out there. They're ruining it for everybody, to be fair, but it was seriously all of this. Why are gods good? Because somebody made up this shit at some point, and it's just perpetrated its way on down, and it's just trickled down, and that's just where people go. And like, if you try to ask questions like this, well, why? Because why though? Seriously, where did it come from? And some dude like centuries and thousands of millennia ago, like came up with this, and you're just like okay with that? Because like, you shouldn't just believe everything you hear on the internet. You should just believe everything you heard before the internet, you know? So it's like an interesting question. It's a nice theological question here, and it's like, you're never going to get a good answer. Because, like, you know. I struggled to grasp the essence of justice. Perhaps it was because I've been a demon too long. Okay. But some demons do consume humans, which seems morally wrong. Others snatch souls meant for reincarnation. I mean, are we talking about Clarice? Because she asked and Robin was cool with it, so. Clarice once took a beloved soul here. My understanding of right and wrong wavered. I like how she says Clarice once took a beloved soul here. Like it wasn't yesterday. Or earlier today. It was literally earlier today. So like, yeah, but again, she asked. That was a choice that Robin made. So she didn't just snatch him away against his will. So you can't really say that, oh, my understanding of right and wrong, like, you can't say that was wrong. She went to Robin and was like, here's the deal, and he made that choice for himself. She gave him a choice and he made a choice. That's perfectly acceptable. Now, the outcome of that choice, yeah, it might be questionable, but she gave him a choice. There's a difference than I kidnapped him. Kidnapping him means you had no choice, so. Again, let's not get judgy here about this stuff. Like, eating people against their will, yeah, absolutely. Heck, technically eating people even if they consent is a little fucked up, so, you know, I really just, that's questionable. But, like, kidnapping souls to turn them into your pets, yeah, wrong. Asking someone and laying out all the rules, you know, and letting them make an informed decision, nothing wrong with that. Informed, that's the key. Part of me felt that mutual consent made it acceptable. There you go. If I remained a god, I'd condemn demons enticing souls from humans. But now I didn't think it was all that bad. Again, even as a god, see, that's kind of fucked up as a god. It's like, again, you're saying that a human being does not have the ability to consent on what happens to their soul. Then you're saying that they're property in some way because they don't have the right to say that they're going to give their soul to a demon. They don't have that consent. They don't have the ability to consent. And that's kind of fucked up. Just saying. It's difficult. Justice and evil were just different viewpoints that changed depending on how one perceived them. Fair. And the demons who had spoken to us believed they were on the side of justice when they sought to destroy the gods. I mean, I can understand why they're pissed.
Anyway, let's learn more about demons.
Learn what?
You asked me earlier, didn't you? I'll teach you about the Demon's Pact.
Oh, right. Are you really going to teach me?
The Clarice is right that I should teach you accurate information before any others plant any misconceptions in your head. I never thought other demons would be so interested in you in hell, Jesus. And that's why I, Professor Melville, will teach you the rules of demons and how to utilize your powers.
Alan winked, and with a snap of his fingers, our surroundings changed instantly. Classroom? Nice. Huh? Is this Lost York University from a century ago?
Yes, it's just an illusion. It's a different application of my dream manipulation powers.
And there he is wearing his little fucking like his fuzzy sweater under his lab coat. This is an illusion? I cautiously reached out to touch it, but my hand slipped right through the table. In the spot where the chair was, I could feel my bed. Wow, you're right. It's purely for looks.
Yeah, so don't move around too much. Although you can move freely in your dreams.
Alan smiled. He had changed into a professor's attire. It seemed he intended to teach me in that outfit. And then we can get him out of that outfit and have a student-teacher relationship. Which is not inappropriate because we're grown-ass adults, so. Got it, Professor. Are you going to teach me how to create illusions like this?
If you want, I'll teach you anything. About the Demon's Pact, or even about seduction.
I'm pretty good at seducing my husband, I think. He wrapped his arms around my waist, looking at me seductively. It reminded me of how he used to act when he was a member of Cupid Corps.
Yeah, it's been a while. How about a lesson in seduction?
Seduction?
We did it before, remember?
He teasingly traced his hands over my hips and moved in for a kiss. Oh, and I'm moaning for them. I don't think you could call this a lesson in seduction. Kissing someone suddenly wasn't a technique I could use. It wasn't like I could do this with anyone other than Alan. Yeah, but you can use seduction on your husband. I'm just saying, you should know how to do this by now. On him. While still kissing me, Alan snapped his fingers again. We were now on 7th Avenue. Even the cars looked and sounded real. I didn't know what to do. Though I knew it was just an illusion, I felt like we were kissing in public.
Well, do you think you can try seduction?
You know, this is how you get your kinks. Because if you're like, I don't have to worry about actually being a voyeur. We can have sex on a cab right here. And everybody, all the people walking by, but they're not real. So, like, there you go. His fingertip brushed against my lips. His close-up gaze was filled with desire, appearing even more demonic than usual. I got the feeling that he was trying to distract me so I could forget about what happened earlier. When we encountered those demons who were former gods, we'd been asked to join the rebellion. Alan wanted me to forget about that. I knew this because we'd been together for so long. While he was still grazing my lips with his fingers, I bit down. Chomp! Hey, Spacey! It's been so long since you've tried to seduce me like this.
It seems like my skills in seduction have diminished.
You do it to me every day, so I've built up a tolerance.
I feel like you're the one who's seducing me daily.
Alan gave a wry smile and snapped his fingers once more. With that, the scene shifted back to a classroom in Lost York University. You're like, no, this is kinky. I'm just kidding.
We've had enough fun. Let's start the lecture.
All right, ready when you are, Professor Allen.
That's Professor Melville to you, Jesus.
From that day on, I began to learn basic knowledge about demons from Alan.
Today we'll discuss how to determine the ranks of demons.
Yes, Professor Allen. Okay, I like that we're just going to get little, like, these are... We know what she's learning without having to, like, spend time learning everything. Although, I mean, like, a little bit of information might be fine, but...
Next, we'll learn how to drive away weaker demons. Unleash your demonic powers, like I showed you the other day.
Yes, Professor Allen. Our lessons continued daily, and I steadily learned more from Alan. I mean, like, to be fair, like, we don't need to learn how to unleash our powers because it's not like we're playing a game where we're going to have to, like, button click to do it. You know what I mean? But it's nice to know, okay, she's learning how to do that. Cool. After I learned the basics, he helped me refine my demonic powers. Before, I was only capable of predicting humans' romantic compatibility, but now my knowledge extended into deeper realms of demonic arts. Alan taught me how to intimidate enemies and how to use sausages to heal myself if I got injured. Sausages. Interesting. And as promised, he taught me how to write the Demon's Pact. It was the same method Claris used to summon a human soul. I felt like a true demon. Oh, I wrote the wrong thing again.
Take your time. Writing in the demonic language is intricate.
Yeah, thanks. I was trying to draft a Demon's Pact to subjugate another party. It was the same pact that was made between Mephistopheles and Faust. A demon who wrote such a pact could dominate other demons or humans. That was its power. Only a signature was required to finalize its binding power.
And this pact claims the other's soul upon death, but it's possible for them to offer their eyes or internal organs as collateral instead.
Eyes or internal organs? Okay, that's a little gross.
In those cases, you can replace the word soul with something else. It's simple, right?
Yeah, scary how simple it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Clarice also wrote something like this, and her familiar spirit agreed to it. This whole concept felt strange. I don't mind, like, being like, the concept is a little strange because you're not used to it. Yeah, it's so wrong. No, don't get judgy like that, but, like, it feels strange. Yeah, okay. Hey, Alan, Clarice's familiar was a human. Was he fully aware of the conditions when he agreed to sign the pact?
I'm sure he did. From what I've seen, that should be the case.
So typically, when humans die, they enter the cycle of rebirth, right?
Correct. Their souls journey to the underworld. After passing through its gates, they're reborn. And they lose their past memories, though.
There was a time Alan had envisioned such a fate for me. But the thought of that experience deterred me. Rebirth meant losing memories of a past existence. It would feel so lonely to redo my life all over again. I see. Knowing that, I'm glad I became a demon. Huh? If I had been reincarnated, memories of our love would have vanished. I'd rather be a demon, but she was reincarnated. And then he was like, was she talking about, like, again? Like, cause she was. But I guess because of whatever, anyway, not important. I'm sure Clarice's familiar didn't want to forget her either. That must be why he signed the pact. See, and now you're thinking, like, with your heart and being all romantic, and it's adorable and probably true. I recalled his gentle eyes as he danced with Clarice during the Sabbath. That's what made me so sure. Instead of experiencing reincarnation, he chose to live as her familiar.
I see. I guess you're right. He chose a path that was driven by love.
Yeah, in that situation, I'd willingly bind myself in a demon's pact to be with you. Knowing how kind you are, I would never want to leave you alone.
Spacey. Thank you. I feel the same way. If I were a human and you the demon, I'd also make the same choice.
Then there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, no matter what happens, I will promise to be with you even without this pact.
Yeah, I trust you. I gently wrapped my arms around him as we embraced. I always wanted to be with him. The feeling would never fade. If anything, it grew stronger over time. You're being very fighty and bitey and bitchy right now, Bird. Hey, Alan, signing a pact doesn't grant immortality, right?
Correct. The pact merely binds a soul. Familiars can still be devoured by higher-ranking demons or even gods. That's why demons with familiars must possess enough strength to protect them.
I see. They had to be strong. When he said that, I immediately thought of Clarice. Alan was probably thinking the same thing. It meant that Clarice was an exceptionally powerful greater demon. Could that be the reason why Clarice still goes out hunting as a succubus? Clarice said that Wishington was now her hunting ground. Not only that, she traded electricity for happy dreams and nighttime fun. Afterwards, we found out she turned the man she had dated into her familiar. It made us worry for her. She loved that man enough to turn him into her familiar. So why would she keep that lifestyle? Her actions could have been the result of her trying to protect her familiar. Clarice was my best friend. If there was anything worrying her, I hoped to be a friend she could count on. Orpheus tried to bring his late wife, Eurydice? Is it Eurydice? Anyway, back to the world of the dead by begging the god Pluto. Bringing the dead back to life went against the rules of the world. Pluto refused, even at the behest of Orpheus. Orpheus played the lyre in memory of his beloved one. The music struck Pluto's wife, Proserpina's heart. With the help of Proserpina, Orpheus's wife was allowed back from the underworld. They both went to leave, hand in hand. However, Pluto gave one single condition. You may not turn to look at her until you've finished climbing the steps. And doesn't he actually turn around and look at her and then, like, it ends badly? Because, like, most mythology kind of, like, has a terrible ending. Like Grimm's fairy tales. I blinked in confusion, realizing that I was face down on my desk. I felt compelled to look up. Felt like I was having a sad dream, but I couldn't remember what it was. How did I fall asleep here again? I looked at what I was holding and remembered that I'd been reading a book before dozing off. Where's Alan? Oh, right. He's going shopping in the human realm. He said he was going to buy groceries, so I stayed at home to study.
I'm home.
Oh, Alan, welcome home.
I brought some gelato. Want some?
I sure do.
I'll prepare it right away. Hey, you have a mark on your cheek. Were you sleeping on something?
Huh? Oh, well, just a bit. The book had left a mark on my face without my realization. Hiding my face, I quickly went to the washroom. When I came back, Alan was looking at what I was reading.
Mythologies relating to the underworld, huh?
Yeah, I was surprised how many of them were about married couples.
Now that you mention it, you're right.
Orpheus and Eurydice, Pluto and Proserpina, Izanagi and Izanami, Izanagi and Izanami. All of those pairs were husband and wife. However, most of those stories ended with their separation. But Lady Proserpina and Lord Pluto were supposed to be really close, right? Mythological stories depicted Lord Pluto as being head over heels for Lady Proserpina in their courtship. Although Lady Proserpina wasn't happy with him at first, she started to love him later on. On the other hand, myths also depicted couples who hated each other, like Zeus and Hera, also known as Lord Jupiter and Lady Juno. Well, Hera and Juno might be the same person, but we know Zeus and Jupiter aren't the same. But Jupiter is like, oh, Juno's just my wife, but like they don't have any relations. When I read Greek mythology, I found multiple stories about Zeus's infidelity and Hera's retaliation.
Speaking of which, Satan mentioned that Pluto likes playing around during their meetings and it annoys him.
Huh? Satan and Lord Pluto have met?
Yeah, the underworld's next to hell. They frequently organize banquets to maintain good relations.
I didn't know that. Now I'm even more confused about the relationship between gods and demons. I mean, fair enough. It was evident that gods and demons despised each other. I was under the impression that they were enemies. Even demons who were once gods have resentment toward the gods. Upon my return to Celestia, both my parents described demons as evil. The gods saw demons as evil beings, and the demons were now plotting revenge against the gods. I glanced out the window and noticed those demons gathering. They'd been meeting over the past few days, planning their strategy to attack the gods. Yeah, I kind of feel like that seems like that's going to be the inevitable, major plot twist. Okay. The moment to strike Celestia is upon us! Yeah, that sounds... okay. We shall honor our fallen brethren! Let our vengeance rain down upon the gods who doomed us to this fate! Demons stand for justice! It's time to correct the gods' arrogance!
They certainly seem persistent.
I didn't realize demons had such strong feelings towards Celestia. I may be a demon now, but as the former Cupid, I found myself torn.
They do, but it's still odd. The demons are typically loners. I hadn't anticipated them to band together like this. I heard they've been subdued since their defeat in the Middle Ages. Perhaps their patience dwindled after witnessing demons being erased. But if they draw too much attention, the gods will notice. I hope they avoid provoking the gods' wrath.
The gods would eradicate any demon with ill intentions, particularly those who consumed or abducted human souls. Suddenly, an unsettling realization hit me. According to Celestia, Claris would be categorized as a demon who had abducted a human. If the gods erased Claris, surely I would resent them, just like those angry demons. Thinking that, I felt increasingly concerned. Hey, Alan, Claris won't be judged by the gods, right?
Oh, yeah, she should be fine. She may have abducted the soul of a human, but she didn't eat him.
And also, he agreed to it, so it's not abduction!
But I can't say for certain. Standards changed based on the gods' discretion.
I see. I mean, they might see it as like, you stole a human soul. He agreed to it. Doesn't matter. He's not allowed. But see, that's the gods being fucked up, thinking that humans don't have the right to decide what happens to their soul. And that's kind of rude. We're not your animals. You know what I mean? If I want to sell my soul to a demon and be their familiar and pop around whatever, that's my choice, bitch. You know? So that's kind of interesting, you know? The gods determine what was or wasn't sinful. These arbitrary decisions were precisely why demons were now plotting against them. Right, exactly, because they just decide, and like 100 years ago, I mean, rules change in life, like, whatever, but like, that's why they're pissed. So wait. Before, flooding towns was cool, and now it's bad? The whole concept of justice was created by Celestia, but after some thought, I was starting to doubt that this was the natural order. Ooh.
Most demons believe that what they're doing isn't evil, hence their collective uprising.
Alan looked out the window, and we both listened as the rallying cries continued. Do not forgive the tyranny of the gods. Justice is in our hands. Those voices of anger continued to echo outside our window. A consensual pact with Clara shouldn't label her as evil. Exactly, I agree. But that would also mean she'd be judged by the gods. The twisted nature of things represented their discontent. Surrounded by our herb garden, our home was peaceful, but just outside our doors a gathering of grudges was brewing. I got the feeling that something bad was about to happen. I get the feeling too, but that's going to be interesting. Ooh, talk a lot today and tomorrow. But good, maybe that'll be the main thing. See, this part was fine. Uh-oh. Interesting. But you know what I mean? We didn't have we had some weird judgy moments, but for the most part, okay, we're doing this is what I'm saying. Keep it on this track. You know what I mean? Where we're doing interesting things. We're talking about the gods and the demons, and we're moral conundrums here, whatever, not oh, sex is pointless unless you're having a baby, or kissing my husband is a depraved act. Oh, shit like that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But anyway, this was better than the last one. At least didn't piss me off because we didn't bring the baby talk into it, which I'm sure it'll come back around later, whatever. But anyway, we're going to battle the gods, so that should take care of a lot of it. So maybe we won't have time to worry about the other stupid shit. So anyway, I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.